All right, eFootball 24 3.40 update. Now, I'm just going to focus on gameplay updates, okay? Collaboration with Blue Lock. Well, FIFA does Heroes, we do Blue Lock. It's a business, dude. Think about it. Your wish list, I want this to be improved, etc. You know, it's business. You got to have a realistic mindset instead of a raging gamer. I have no problem against that, as long as other things is a priority. We're going to have a stable online. We're going to have this mindless aggression with endless stamina gets fixed. I don't know, but we'll see. And you get a lot of them for free as well, actually. Personally, I'm not a fan of Blue Log. I watch Captain Tsubasa, that's it. But gameplay updates. They say improve conviction of defending. From these clips, what I see, and, you know, anything you agree, disagree, tell me here on Twitch, live on YouTube as well. I'll upload that on YouTube. The problem is a lot of time you perfectly anticipate when you use matchup, a lot of time a player has blocker, do that contextual block. Sometimes they don't. What dictates when a player doesn't do that? Pretty sure most of you know how to use matchup. Just hold matchup. You're not supposed to sprint with it. Overwrites it. But from these clips, it seems to me it's if you time it, that looks like a standing tackle. That looks like a standing tackle, right? Because the player's going at him. Whether it's just the second one it just looks like a standing tackle. Could be matchup as well. But generally, whether it's a matchup or a standing tackle or just holding aggression X, not team press, improved conviction of defending. In addition, we had new tackle in motion as well as implemented judgmental. Let me just say, dude, don't call me a hype killer, but a lot of time all these things look good on paper. And online stability plays a big factor too. You will not be able to recover position. Finally, that sounds good. When I have a player with 100 tackling, you don't even need 100. If a player has 90 or 85 plus tackling, if you time it, if you anticipate, you're not holding a sprint button, you perfectly anticipate and time it, that ball should not bounce to the next teammate, chasing it again. It's like you intercept, goes away, you intercept, go. Whether you conceded or you scored this whole momentum of comeback, put all that aside. If I'm timing it correctly, reward me for it. Simple. If I'm rushing at you, coming at you full speed, don't reward me for it. But does that mean certain things I feel like they're just going to nerf the skill gap? Does that mean you can just mindlessly go to a player who will intercept you? Who knows? Here's another thing, improved conviction of heading, right? There are two ways I can look into this. If you are a skilled user, a lot of time when we do a cross, we use super cancel to auto position, to manually position the receiver for the header, to evade that on rail run, to get away from the defender. That could be difficult when you have delay though. So regardless from that, there are 7 different ways you can cross, or you can just do a circle one. Okay? I think for the meta is just L1 triangle in the box. That is more effective than a fancy David Beckham animation a lot of time. But what I see, it's accurate downward header most of the time. Conviction of heading. Now, all these requires acrobatic finishing, requires first time finishing, requires good finishing, right? And when it comes to the header, of course, requires jump and heading and physical in a way. And at the same time, heading supposed to improve downward heading. Aerial superiority helps you to win the aerial duel. So we pay attention to all these. And a lot of time you will see Messi at a bang average free card Messi, I call it Barbie Messi, can win a header over Nesta. If you play real life football, if a good cross comes in, even Insigne can score a header. But that's when he isn't marked. You don't see Nesta in real life letting Messi jump over him. So if your Nesta doesn't jump and Messi scores a goal, how do you take this? But for me, I really hope they're not nerfing the skill gap for this improved heading. I feel like every striker is going to do downward heading now. And if they do that, that will be killing the skill gap more. Otherwise, for downward heading, requires all these skills, abilities. And then a lot of time we do stunning kick for the downward header. More than 50% power, stunning kick for downward header. That's regarding the heading. Modification of classic number 10 playing style. I've always used classic 10 playing style, to be honest. A lot of time I play counter. I like my AMF to lurk in front of a box, give me a better vision. For most meta players, want that AMF to always make direct runs. Could be personal preference. Most Classic 10 can play CF like Totti or Hullet. Classic 10 is not active as a CF, so implemented to the off-the-ball movement, so AI movement. Players with playing style will now spearhead attacks. Okay. By positioning themselves close to the opposition ball and may even have a crack on a goal themselves when opportunity rises. So, I suppose Classic 10 is your new goal poacher. Zico's going to be the top. Zico's going to be your goal poacher scoring headers now. This eligible position for this playing style have been changed to SS, AMF, CMF will no longer be eligible. Ooh. So Classic 10, wait a minute. This playing style have been changed to SS, AMF, and CMF will no longer be eligible. This is because CMF is a position that requires high-level contribution to build up defensive scenarios. All right, so they changed the position style for when Classic 10 is going to be active. From this clip, it looks like whether are you doing a pass and move, crossover move, whatever it is, it looks like they make good runs. Spearhead, we'll find out. Because nobody used Classic 10. I love my Totti. He has like 200 appearances. Board and discover player development with position training. Position training, I haven't looked into it that much. That's probably going to be a separate subject to talk about it. We'll get into that. But it seems like random. But you can use it with legacy transfer. So you may do the same thing, like we give a skill to a player, a GP player, a free GP player, give them a skill, legacy transfer it, to make sure that the target player is not going to get something we don't want. But if you legacy transfer that skill trainer, are you going to get the exact same one? If you guys done that, let me know. You know the same method we use with skill trainers. Registered position, adjustable acquirable positions, CF. Position reference depends on the player's default proficiencies at the same time. Now, of course, player position has an impact on the manager's tactical proficiencies. So using the correct, like let's say you have Chiesa who doesn't play CF. If you use him as a CF without having that position, he's not going to get the best possible boost in a way. You give him CF, then he does. I think that's obvious stuff. And this is basically just a diagram of all the registered position. Players with trade card type cannot undergo these. New game plan feature, edit position. That's iOS, okay. All right. There are a bunch of other stuff here as well through the note patches. I think let's go with number 1. That is for console. Additional daily game leap reward, all right. So Classic 10 is hyped for 10 and whole player. We're going to check it in the game. I want to see what they changed it there. New update available, additional feature, position, and training. We basically went through all that. The following data have been updated. Honestly, as much as these are good visually, it's not, I don't care personally that much towards it. Like stadiums, animations, boost, new leagues, gameplay fixes, adjustment based on various options received in the interviews and surveys. Why don't you fix the server then? Enhancement to response when switching between a normal dribble and dash dribble. Okay? Traps. Fix the issue when speed of movement when controlling the ball may be unnaturally fast. Yeah, like Haaland doing Ankara Messi. Control the ball with the inside of his foot in scenarios where controlling the sole of the foot would be hindered. Passing. Elevate the issue of the passing not being relative adequately. Pass. So that means what's going to happen to passing now? Those who always played 1, the highest this is. Those who played in between, played 2. Hardly anybody plays 3 for a good reason. Trajectory of headers more suitable for situation, the posture and body positioning. I mean, that's the first thing. Angles are everything. Whether you're setting up a quick passing, whether you're doing a combination of skills to set up a good angle to pass and shoot, it's the same thing goes. Like you open your body, you make sure the player's on the right foot. You calculate all these sometimes. Well, most of the time you should be. And that's why sometimes you see a player who doesn't even have acrobatic finishing or phenomenal finishing can take a 360 no scope turn off balance. It still goes on target. Sometimes. What's the next one? Then we have defending. I think those were the clips that we went through them. Motion will be triggered according to the situation. Adjustment moving to a player classic number 10. Yep, we went through. I think these are just note versions of the club we went through them in a way. implemented fairer foul decisions with regard to circumstances. I would say 3 out of 5 fouls from behind are a red, but the game doesn't give you red. Or sometime you should be given an advantage because you're through, you're not given. Just like real life, we're never happy about referees, but I think in a video game sometimes it's over the top. General fixes apply to migrate into the bug showing. What, like a corner kick glitch? I don't see the corner kick being a glitch, dude. You know the flick hidden? Off the ball control has been part of the game for years. You use off the ball control, you flick header it to the guy, and then you pass it again, you score it. It's called the meta. It's called taking advantage of the game's weak mechanic. It's like kickoff. I don't think kickoff is a glitch. Because you score a goal, you instantly get a goal back. But you could be conceding a goal. You know what I mean? It works both ways. You're not just conceding from it. You score from it as well. It just adds a little bit more dramatic situation into the game. I don't find kickoff goals a glitch. If it was a glitch, why both games have the same glitch? Is it possible they're a different engine? What was the other thing we're going to go through it, man? So these are regards of the gameplay changes. Quickly just going through it. Now, in terms of the Blue Lock collaboration. As I said, man, personally, I don't see the big problem because there are way more important stuff. I get that part. But like FIFA adds heroes, we add Blue Lock collaboration. It's something new, right? And I get it. Like, every time I say something positive about something, it doesn't mean I have to mention all the other stuff that I'm unhappy about.